data or into driving consumption is take a step back. Because I think we're all looking for the same thing out of packaging. And what I mean by that is we're looking for a better way. And I think it's interesting to look at another industry that has done quite a spectacular job of accelerating a better way, because we see it every day, and the pace of change in technology. And so what I thought we'd do is take a quick look at what some people have done in that business. I think this is a Casio watch called DataBank. It's quite large. The big key is it has a calculator on it. And if you want, you can store your friend's emails by punching it in that little keypad. Some smart people get together and they come up with a thing called the Pebble. Who knows of the Pebble watch? Okay. Raging success. Went to a Kickstarter.com site. They raised $10 million to develop this. What's it do? It gives you your email, it has caller ID, you can change the face. If you're riding a bike, it gives you your speed. It was launched last week. By the way, it tells time. But it clearly is a better way. Smart people get together when we sit in traffic. And enough people sit in traffic, and you know what, even the public sector helps us out. They say, you know what, we're sitting in traffic, we need a better way. And the better way is a fast pass. No quicker way to spend $2 and flying through that thing at 50. So you look at airports, a lot of people are waiting there, the smart people get together, what do? Nothing. We're still hanging out by the kiosk or waiting in line, but that's for the airline summit here next month, so we won't talk about that today. So it's a little slower in the world of packaging, you know, but still it's clear that people are always looking and delivering on a better way, whether it be a 100-year-old package, as well as a way to have a better experience for those who are on the go. What's interesting is you know, brands change, graphics change, and structure changes. And to me, it is about a better way to go from that old metal thing that we used to jab into a can, to the blow-molded bottle, to now the pouch, which clearly is a better way with much less raw material, much less landfill, and a better experience to get in that crankcase cover. So a lot of things change. I mean, in the world of you know, a product like Pepto-Bismol, we know there's a lot of raw material, a lot of glass, and you always have to find a cup or some way to get it in your body. And I think P&G's done a nice job with very little raw material, and everybody gets their cup. So clear, the pace of change is slower, but there's still always a better way of packaging. I know this one is way overdone, but it's still a good one to talk about the innovation on a simple thing is it fits better on shelf, and I can get the cover back on instead of getting the paint on myself as I hammer that top. So clearly a better way is alive and well in packaging. I get a kick out of Linden saying, we're going to have an on-the-go package, and by the way, we're going to give you a thermos with it. So they have a better way now. It's probably a little less expensive for them to just give you an on-the-go package. We saw this maybe 3 weeks ago. Midwest Baker did a 3,000-person consumer insight study. I thought it was well done. They talked about, you know, in packaging, what do people, you know, what frustrates you? Does the on-shelf frustrate you? No. Does the aesthetic appeal frustrate you? No. How it opens and closes? How much is left? I think Scott was saying how much is left over bugs people. But what's interesting, the number one thing that they wanted their package to do out of 3,000 consumers is they say, hey, just protect the package from spilling and breaking. 74% was the most popular answer of what they want from the package. This is a broad category of products. What was also interesting is 24% is the number that percent of people who say they're very satisfied with how well the product protects and from spilling and breaking. So it just goes to show pretty significant satisfaction gap in what people want in a package and what we give to them. It's a good study though. If you go to the Midwest Baker site, it tells you all these 15 characteristics that people are looking for. But this is a big satisfaction gap right here. But I'm going to take another step sideways, if you will, because we know if you solve for satisfaction gap, you're going to increase consumption. But I think there's other ways. I want to take some different ways to look at how do we increase consumption, i.e. increase revenue, increase our business. The question is more focused on how and where can packaging drive structure. How can packaging structure drive more consumption? So there's probably two pretty obvious places to look. I Again, Scott talked about being a more mobile society, that's for sure. So on the go and lifestyles at home, the two key areas that we look at for how packaging structure can increase consumption. So again, this aspect of people being mobile, being on the go is not new, but what's that mean for packaging? So we think it means, we think there's three ways that we've found to really focus on increasing consumption through packaging with the on-the-go segment. And the first one we call is make it mini. It's pretty obvious. It's not like this is going to be really a brain twister here. But we all know that if you got a spot or a stain on your clothing, a 2-gallon jug of Tide is not going to do much good in a nightclub or while you're out. But a little on-the-go Tide stick is going to answer the call. So making it mini is a huge advantage here. We also know if you get a little heartburn, you probably don't have 8 ounces of Pepto-Bismol with you in the restaurant or in someone's pocket or purse. But nice new product, you know, Pepto to go, clearly a nice, small, concealable package when you might need it most. People are quite loyal to their sweeteners. When you go to Starbucks and there's no substituting, you got a list of what people want. They want their certain sweeteners. A packet, you might say a packet. Is that already good for on the go? Well, maybe for a day or two. But once that's in your briefcase or in a pocket or purse, it delaminates, and you end up with a sweetener in your pocket or purse. So here, nice job. You get 100. You get 100 Splenda Minis for on the go in a nice portable package. So clearly, in this case here, making it mini is a way to add consumption. Because guess what? You're not going to add consumption if the product isn't where the people are using it. That's pretty clear. The other thing is what we term adopt for new behavior. What's kind of funny is, you know, when I was this kid's age, the thought of people selling me water was laughable. And the idea that we're going to be buying water was a bit of a joke. But we know it's prevalent now. It's consumed by huge quantities every day. But a 2-pound Country Time lemonade mix is not going to do you much good in a soccer field. So again, we've seen this, but a concentrated lemonade in a meal container, clearly adopt for a new behavior. It does a very, very successful job getting your product to where it needs to be used. Again, Campbell's soup, we had a can opener, which was a problem. Now this pop top was a nice one. But going that one step further when you're in a rush, clearly the package is the product here. And it's a great product. They have the cool ends, so when you microwave it, it's not hot in your hands to take it out. A great way to adopt for a behavior that we don't have enough time anymore. Again, mobile society, us Americans, we live a lot in our cars. And if you've got to feed a toddler, you know, having a spoon handy and having a dirty jar afterwards is less than ideal. But if you have a new product like this, direct to mouth, there is no spoon required. It's just a direct-to-mouth container, and we know that consumption will increase when you get the product where the people are. So, number 2, we say adopt for new behavior. Number 3, and it was talked a little bit earlier, I know A.G. Lafferty did a great job talking about the first moment of truth. You buy a product on shelf, that second or two from 3 feet away, you're going to buy it. But when you get it home, that second moment of truth is there some functionality. And again, kind of overused because we're all in packaging, but 40 years ago, Heinz comes up with this ketchup, which never has worked good. For 4 decades, you squeeze it out, it gets on your fingers. And I don't know why it took so long, but this dip and squeeze is just a great improvement, where you can dip the French fry on one end, or you can squeeze it and put it on your hot dog with the other. Just a very effective way to add functionality to a very old package. I think, you know, a 1-pound Oreo cookie container with 3 rows isn't going to do you much good in the backseat of a car. But again, if you can put it in a drink holder and make it mini, you kind of do 2 things. You add the functionality of the package that can be used. It's funny, I have some first-hand experience. This was a few years ago, but it was really about adding functionality to a product that we said, you know what, Q-tips are kind of a ubiquitous product. They're used in more places than just the ears. If they're used, you know, it could be animals, makeup removal, eyes, keyboards, everything. You know, they're used for sometimes very big ears. They're sometimes used for little noses. And if you just look on the internet, people have too much time on their hands, okay? Because I don't know what these guys are doing, but anyways, the fact is, people are mobile, they're on the go, and so when people travel, what was the predominant way people traveled with a Q-tip or a cotton swab? We all know what that was, right? It was the baggie. That's what people tend to put it in. So we noticed that, and we developed a product called this on-the-go crush-proof case for Unilever. And it was, again, we had the insights and we developed it, and it's just been a raging success for many years. And the fact is, it's refillable. Does anybody have this product? Anybody bought this product? Nice. So pretty. Anybody refill it? Okay, so that's good. Anybody buy a competitive product? Yeah, shame on you if you had that. Raise your hand. Nice. So the fact is, we've done 3 billion cotton swabs. I'm not saying it was all incremental, 3 billion more, because maybe some people still be putting them in a baggie. But the fact is, that's a lot more consumption based upon an on-the-go travel case, which wasn't there before. As a little side note here, it's interesting. We ask ourselves, how much can on-the-go functionality, can you increase your profit in a product? So this comes to the contest of my talk. I'm a rich guy, I got $5 for the winner of this question. So we've got to listen closely to see if the person has the right answer. So thank you, Kat. Kat's going to get $5 for the answer. Here's the question. The liquid on the left is in most of your homes. It's a gallon. The liquid on the right is 2 ounces. A lot of you paid $5 a gallon for the liquid on the left. Some of you paid $82 a gallon for the exact same liquid on the right. What's the liquid? No. What is it? No. No. It's a liquid in your home right now. It's in most people's homes right now. Winner, we have a winner, $5 for the far corner, nice going, nice going. 82 bucks. So the fact is, it's the exact same product, okay? But you put it in a 96-ounce container, it's $5 a gallon. You put it in a bleach pen, and you're going to pay $82 a gallon. It's the exact same product. So again, in this case, the package is the product. 16 times more. 16 times more per unit. Even back to our Q-tip story, that's a 5x increase in the cost per Q-tip. Not a small price to pay, but definitely something people pay for convenience and having something for on the go. So, a little sidebar there. It's also interesting looking at what goes on in the home. We look at it in 2 ways. How do you increase consumption through packaging structure in the home? And we look at 2 broad categories. We look at, you got to leave it out. We've seen this tried and failed by a lot of companies, but successful with some, and we'll talk about that. The other thing is give the package a job. How can you give it a job? So the subcategories here, we see leave it out in really 2 ways. The subcategory is home decor. Again, we've seen it done successfully and not so much so. But S.C. Johnson has Blade. You can keep it in your cupboard, or you can keep it under the sink. But we all know, out of sight, out of mind, usage will decrease. They launched this product here. It's still new to the market. I happen to know my partner company, Nypro, makes this, and it's been a very high volume product. You get it home, you peel out that cellophane, and you have something that's not so obtrusive in the living room, and something you're more likely to keep out. So how can it fit a decor? It's one way to do it. You know, the kind of the corporate Kleenex box, you make it a little more interesting, a little more fun, more likely to be left out in the home. Windex has a multi-surface disinfecting cleaner. It happens to be sold in the exact same container as Windex that we all know. Anybody saw this last month? Last month they have who saw this product, this new Windex product? Okay, packaging people for sure. Disinfecting, press it down with a paper towel, gets quick cleanup. All designed to be left out. When it's out, it's going to be used. When it's in the cupboard, it's not going to be as much. Even dish detergent. As a rule, you don't want to leave that out in your home, but if you do a nice job like Method does, on a nice industrial design, the odds are it's going to be kept up by the sink much more than not. So home decor, clearly a way to increase packaging usage and leaving it out. The other thing, which was not quite so obvious, is keep it clear. I know, again, Scott talked a little bit about the Tropicana example. We'll talk about that, but you know, Twizzlers is a bit iconic. It's often sold in a bag, but they often sell a great deal of them in their clear container. not only on shelf, but when you get it home, it increases consumption, more likely to be left out than not. Again, these guys are showing them some love because they've been beat up pretty bad. But the fact is, Tropicana, you know, it's clear, no pun intended, that when you make it clear, people buy the product. It reminds me a little like certain restaurants. Isn't it nice when you can see where they cook it? Those restaurants where you can see where I don't want that food just coming out of nowhere. So it's kind of like, I want to see the product that I'm going to buy here. And clearly it's helped them at retail. We have a product called Out to Share, which is a injection molded tub. It's designed to be left out. It's got a full molded graphic on it. So we did a test, one of the biggest tests we've done, and it is designed to, you could leave it out for pet food, you could leave it out for candy, you could leave it out for cleaning pods, like for your dishwasher, or you could leave it out for tea, again, to leave it out. So we focused on the candy market, and we wanted to know, you know, could we drive consumption by a product by leaving it out? So it's kind of hard to see, but these are 3 different products. So we did a research, we molded it in a clear opaque label. This is actually clear, you can't tell it, but that's actually, you can see the candies in the container. And this one was a control group, just a standard bag, almost candy is sold. And so we tested 1,000 consumers. You had to be 18 years or older, because a lot of younger children have different buying habits, if they buy at all, not taking their parents. And you had to have eaten candy the past 3 months. We tested for 3 things: brand recall, purchase intent. The only thing I want to talk about today is increased consumption. Do people eat more when they can see it? And it was one of those things that you go, are you kidding me? Is it that much more? Well, what we found is we increased consumption by 89% versus traditional packaging when it's clear and you leave it out. That's almost double. That's almost double the consumption when you get the product out there and you get it in clear. And then after we spent all this money on this research, this third-party research, we found this in the Wall Street Journal like a month later. I don't know if you guys saw this article from 2011. But they did a test, and it was interesting. So they did a test, and they, a 4-week study, this woman, Ellen Scharber, who was a columnist for the Wall Street Journal. I don't know why the Wall Street Journal was doing this, but what's interesting, they studied 40 office managers and found that when candy was visible in a clear covered dish, people ate 2.5 times of 2.5 pieces of chocolate on top of the 3.1. Okay, not great for the diabetes and things like that. That's probably one of the points they had here. But the fact is, they ate 81% more than had it been in an opaque container. Pretty compelling. I wish I knew that before we paid for our study. But the fact is, you get it out there, you get it clear, and it's going to increase consumption for sometimes reasons beyond me. The second subcategory, again, is we call it give it a job. And I think we've all seen some of these products, and one of them we'll call it skip a step. Now, we all know you can buy ground pepper, and you get the pepper mill out of your cupboard, but it's also nice when you just grab the package and it's ready to roll, and you can grind it right there. So skip a step is clearly a way to increase consumption. This company here, it looks European, it's just from the West Coast. Anybody know this brand? It's Trustees. Okay, so it's been around, so I wasn't familiar with them from the East. But a nice thing, here you can get a pan, you can make your biscuits, you got a big batter, you have a spoon, you have a lot of dirty dishes, or there's a new product, you just put water in the package, you shake it, you're ready to go. So clearly skipping a step makes it a lot easier and a lot more compelling package for consumers. The other area we find has been helpful in increasing consumption is give it a home, give it someplace. What I mean by that, again, I think Armand Hammer, we know, has done a great job to take this from the cupboard to get it in the refrigerator, but refrigerator real estate is pretty high price. It's important real estate in a refrigerator, so again, you give it a home, you stick it on the side, it clearly gets the Armand Hammer product in the refrigerator. It might not be otherwise. The other good example here is this UK brand, Radix shampoo, mostly out of Europe. Again, real estate in a shower is probably more, I should say shelf space in a shower is even more valuable than real estate. So with this one here, they've had this nice product where it just hooks on the shower head or hooks on a shelf to increase consumption and give it a home. Give it a home in the house. So a couple key areas on how to How do you drive consumptive good packaging? In summary, on the go, and you can see the subcategories there. Leave it out and give it a job.